Hi, I'm Patrick Sullivan. This is Recurring Insight, and for this episode, I'm going to be talking about Restoration Angel. Even though Restoration Angel is quite a bit different than the last card that I looked at, Master of the Fells, there's a lot of the same characteristics in terms of it being a really appealing design with an inefficient distribution of stuff going on, but the sum of the parts leads to a card that's powerful, dynamic, and a lot of fun.
Blinking effects in Magic are broadly really popular, and there's a bunch of good reasons for it. The gameplay is really great, and there's also the level 1 way of playing it, which is just sort of protecting your creatures from removal spells or combats that go poorly, and you can scale it all the way up to enters the battlefield / leaves play triggers, and even in some cases you can establish combos and loops with blinking effects. That stuff is great. And there's room for a lot of different types of designs in that space. I think the super efficient spells that are, 1 mana and really just about the most efficient blinking possible, that's all well and good. But I really want to call out Restoration Angel as I think the right way to do this sort of thing for a number of reasons. One is it's not particularly efficient at one thing, but the sum of the parts adds up to something that's very appealing and attractive for a certain type of strategy. Blinking effects can be quite powerful. They show up in tournament settings and in relatively powerful formats, but 4 mana is not the amount you're looking to pay for that sort of thing. And a 4 mana 3/4 flash flyer is fine, but I would say, barring extraordinary circumstances, not really a game piece you would consider playing in standard. So the decks that play Restoration Angel are typically pretty interactive, not just because Restoration Angel is a creature that encourages other creatures, but because the sum of the parts is really only efficient if you're doing a variety of things. Also, I like that it gives players the flash experience in small doses. There is a lot to be said for the feeling of security or being able to play a reactive game, but too often how that manifests in Magic is just a deck that plays nothing but instants and just asks for their opponent to play into their reaction. Restoration Angel has a little bit of that. It does come up from time to time, but typically when you're talking about constructed, the fact that removal that gets played is usually so much cheaper than Restoration Angel means that the Restoration Angel player has some incentive to just play and get it over with in spots where there's value to be gained, because there's no guarantee they're going to be able to win that sort of exchange once the spells get on the stack. So I think it does a really nice job of splitting the difference between being in the flash game, but not just engendering a play pattern of one person just not playing any spells on their main phase. And lastly, I think there's a really brilliant development knob going on here in calling out non-angel. I think it's just a great mixture of gameplay and flavor, and these sort of things are home runs. As a game designer, you're just looking for these moments all the time, and they come up very rarely as good as this one does. You need to have some sort of clause on there to prevent it from entering the battlefield and just blinking itself over and over again. So what's the solution? Well, you could say not named Restoration Angel. There's probably some other knobs, but non-angel is so brilliant because it solves all of these issues. Also solves potential future angel designs that blink things out, and that could be a thing that you want to do. But also the flavor is exceptional. It makes a lot of sense for an angel to be concerned about rescuing non-angels. It's just brilliant. And the fact that it simultaneously tells a good story and satisfies a gameplay need is really excellent. So Restoration Angel, I think another great sort of marquee card for standard level play. I really love the distribution of rate, the distribution of incentives, and the cherry on top is coming up with an evocative and flavorful mechanical solution.
Again, that was Restoration Angel, and this is Recurring Insight. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Star City Games YouTube page so you can get notified when new content gets uploaded to the page, and keep throwing those comments up there as well. After going Master of the Fells, Restoration Angel back to back, which are cards I love, don't get me wrong, I'm looking to indulge something maybe a little bit more perverse, maybe something a little bit more vintage or legacy oriented. So if you could post those kind of suggestions up in the comments, I'd greatly appreciate it.